welcome back to the 19th episode of our still unnamed survival series. We are dragging 2 villagers across our lake over to our zombie village. We are gonna breed them up and... oh, we just got mining fatigue from our guardian buddy. Thank you, Mr. Guardian, for hijacking my intro. Either way, we do need to get some new villagers for our farm to actually start working. Now that I've pulled them ashore, I am actually going to start flattening out this area just so I can give them a little bit of a home, just so we can potentially put an actual villager breeder here too eventually. I'm kind of on the outskirts of our village because I don't actually know what I'm going to do with this area yet. In the future, I kind of envision our village across the lake to spread around the lake and then meet up with the capital on the far side of the lake. But I don't actually know yet. But for now, I'm just going to terraform this little island. Now that I've flattened this out a little bit and pulled my villagers ashore, I think I'm going to spread out this island a little. I need a little bit more room to work with than what I have. So I'm going to take some of the grass blocks I pulled from the top and just put them along this little edge right here. I'm going to keep this really simple for now and just put a wall around them and then some beds in the middle. I think that's the easiest way to get our villagers to do what I want, and by far the less time consuming. This is going to be their new home for a little bit. I'm going to try and get a few extra baby villagers so we can kind of repopulate this area a little bit. We are going to need a lot more villagers in the future, just in case something like this ever happens again. I really want to be prepared for losing more villagers. Fantastic. Now that we actually have a pin set up, I'm going to set these villagers free. Well, as free as they could be. And then we're going to place some beds in their little hole area. These are the farmers I buy my golden carrots from, so I would like to keep them as safe as possible and maybe take them home. I'm not sure if these guys actually need workstations to breed, but we're going to put them down anyway just to be safe. Hey, they look like they did something. Oh, they did do something. They ruined their breeding session. That's not good. Whoops. Since I buy carrots from these villagers, I'm going to wait till we get 2 baby villagers, and then I'm going to bring these ones back to our home island. That didn't take nearly as long as I thought it would. We already have 2 baby villagers, so we're going to try and get these 2 guys in a boat. Hey, that worked out really well. And try and get them out of the pen so we can take them back to their home country. Well, technically this is all going to be their home country eventually, but that's not the point. We're taking them back to the main village. I'm gonna see if I can pull them out of the pen without letting our baby villagers escape. Okay. Already escaped. Plan B. We're just gonna take them home now. Okay, these kids are being really annoying, so I'm just gonna boat them up. Is he? Oh. Thank you. You just walked right in there. You knew the plan. Thank you for being so cooperative. Now it's time to actually pull these guys home. That went really smoothly, and I'm going to put these villagers back in their original home now, and afterwards, I think it's about time that we work on our village's new addition. Now we're going to change pace and head over to our new building, where we still need to put in the floors. All of our walls are up, but our floors are still missing. And I think we're going to start with the little patio deck outside here, and I'm going to do something that I've never done before. I'm going to use campfires, slabs, and trapdoors to hopefully get a very nicely detailed little walkway here. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out, but I have some pretty high hopes. I've gone ahead and crafted up a bunch of these campfires, and these are a directional block, and I don't want these perfectly aligned with each other, so we're just going to randomly spread them out all over the place. It's also very important that we have a half block over here by the stairs and any of the logs, really. This still needs to function as a path, and to keep everything smooth transitioned and easy to walk on is really important. So we either need a campfire here or a true half slab. No trap doors. At least on the path most traveled. I do want this to look kind of random and aged, so we're gonna try not to put any block next to itself, if that makes sense. So like over here where there's a campfire next to a campfire, I'm gonna try to avoid that as much as possible, but we'll see how it goes. The more and more I build into this, the more and more I like it. Again, I've never really built in this style before, so everything that I'm building in this series is completely new to me. No practice, no anything really. So I'm really happy with how this is turning out so far. I'm actually really liking the way this is going. Since this is going so well, I think we should take a flyby, see how things are going, see if it's looking good, making sure it looks good from every angle, and see if there's anything that I can actually improve on. No, I'm actually really liking this. I think that adds just enough detail and just enough texture to actually keep the building interesting. Yeah, I really like that. I guess let's do the same thing and finish out the rest of it. I've finished putting in all of the detail work for this path, and I really like it. This fits the exact vibe that I was going for. Kind of run down factory path, and I feel like all the colors just blend in with the red of the wall so brilliantly. I love this. I also really love how the trapdoor has braces in the texture. I don't even know what those are, but they've got some gray lines in it, and that really matches the gray of the campfire. I absolutely love it. I might come back in underneath this and put in some light blocks just so the path is constantly lit, but I don't quite know yet. But even as is, I love this. So I put up this scaffolding just to help with the roof building a little bit. I always think it's kind of weird when buildings don't have transitions from the roof line to the actual structure. If you notice on all of my other builds, we have some stairs between the bracing and the roof. And I think we're just going to continue that style on this building. I think that would look the best, feel the best, and overall keep in theme with the village. So that is what we're going to start on now. The first thing that I'm going to do in detailing the roof line is add all of our little archways. We're going to have 3 of them. This is going to be a doorway, the main doorway for this building, and it's going to stick out and jut out a little bit. So we need to build that first before we can add the detail to the roof line. So I finished up our little archway, and now we're gonna put the Viking style overhang over the front of the doorway. I'm trying to keep this building in the same general theme as all the other buildings in the village. The way that I like to build my arches is every time we go up, we also go out, and I think that that brings a really nice curve and overall feel to the archway itself. And we're going to be doing this on basically all of the sides of this building. The same process, the same style of arch, everything exactly the same. Now it's time we move on to the big arches. These are going to be a little bit more difficult and a little bit more time consuming, especially to get the curves and proportion right. So I'm going to be tinkering around with the curves and the proportions until I like what I see, and then we can build the second one. We are going to be doing that curved Viking overhanged roof just to kind of keep everything in proportion and keep everything in the village coherent and cohesive. It's also going to make this building look a little bit bigger than it actually is and add to that feel of this. I figured out the proportions that I like for this arch, and we're just gonna go ahead and do it on the other side now. But before we do that, we're going... Oh. Okay, we're just gonna build the other arch. Yeah, this is really coming together. I really like the proportion of this roof and just the general vibe it's given off. We still need to put the arcs and the overhangs over this, but I don't think that's gonna change the feel too much or the proportion too much. I think we're gonna stick with this and actually finish it up. Before we actually move on to those overhangs, I think I'm gonna work on putting the trim in between these logs just to, well, finish up the transition. That way, right after we finish the arches, we can move straight into the building of the roof. The trim is gonna stick in theme, and it's gonna be just like this building with upside down spruce stairs. This is the only reason why I put the scaffolding up, so we could walk around without falling, putting up the trim, easy peasy, no problems, right at the perfect height to put this up. Over on this back side, over above our little patio area, I don't exactly know what I'm gonna do with this yet, and I don't have any posts here to stop the trim, so I'm just gonna bring it all across this and maybe change it up a little bit when I actually figure out what I'm doing back here. But for the rest of the building, it's gonna be just like this. Well, not like that. We're gonna, yeah, just like this. This is the one. We are making some progress here. Everything for this roof is looking pretty dandy. We still need to add our little swoopy things, arches, overhangs, whatever you want to call them. I'm gonna call them swoopy things. We still need to put those in. So I'm gonna go ahead and start working on that before we do anything else, and then we can actually put in the hay bales for our roof. same method for getting the swoops that we used on literally every other building and every other arch. Just a space added every time we go up. It looks good, looks functional, and I really can't complain with the outcome. These are looking great. We're just about done with these swoopy archy thingies. Afterwards, we're going to be using some stairs to add some detail and blend the transitions a little bit in the roofline. I always like putting these stairs on the archways here. I always think they look really good and it's a lovely addition and added texture to the detail. I always think my builds look okay and just adequate, and my goal is to make them look exceptional and improve in every area of my building. And I think where my building lacks the most is in the detail area. Color palettes and just the way that the blocks interact with each other. I think that's really where my building suffers the most. And here we have our finished frame. I think it looks really good. I really like this. I like how it fits in and it's different than all of our other buildings. I still think it's a little stale on the main top part of the structure. I think it looks a little too similar to the rest of the village. And that's something that I kind of want to work on in the buildings of the future. Just making it look a little bit different and stick out and be more unique. I don't want to get too caught up in this building style to where everything looks stale and bland. We have our structure, we have our frame, everything is looking fantastic. So I think it's about time that we actually start adding our hay and putting in our roof. We're gonna make this roof in the same style as all of our other builds and give it kind of that droopy hay feel. Something primitive, something old, worn down, and rustic. By the end of this building should be looking really, really good. And you're gonna find out how good it can look in this time lapse. We still need to do a little bit to the outside of the building, finish up some walls, add a little bit more detail, but for now I think we're gonna skip that and move straight on into the interior. We still need to build a storage area, a place where all of our farm stuff is gonna go, a lot of stuff. But I'm really happy with this building. It's still not the tallest building. This over here is still the tallest, and I like how it fits in with the village. It's not as tall as this building over here. I'm really just loving the way that this is fitting with our village. Back to the interior though, I'm not entirely sure how to bring the theme from the outside on the inside. I don't really know what blocks to use. For now it's just really ugly. We could probably terraform this, bring this down a little bit on the inside. Definitely get rid of this. This'll free up some space. I think we are gonna dig down though. Our storage area is probably gonna be right here because our tube is right there. I don't really know. I'm thinking that I want to put my villagers in here as well from over here. I want to have the golden carrot villagers and the glistening melon villagers somewhere. Maybe up here on this little awning area. I'm not entirely sure yet. Oh well. This is kind of the space we're working with now. I've cleared out the area, and I think all of our item sorters are gonna go right here, right in front of this little wall. I'm trying to make it so it avoids our little minecart unloader, but I'm not sure what the best way to go about it is. So I've kind of been planning this out a little bit, And I think this is where I'm gonna put all the chests and all the storage systems. We're gonna set this up in a very similar way to how we set up the Guardian farm, with this very specific style of storage silo. I kind of like this style, so I'm probably gonna build these a lot everywhere, but I don't know how tall I need to build them and how exactly we're gonna hide them underneath the floor. This is gonna be a little funky, I think. I think this is how tall they need to be to keep under the floor. But there's gonna be a floor there, so I don't really know how I'm gonna connect this to the water lines and keep everything hidden. But I'm gonna go ahead and build up the rest of these silos, and hopefully through that, I can figure out exactly how I'm gonna put this together, because I really have no idea yet. So I've finished building up the silos, and I still don't quite know what I'm gonna do. This right here is the elevator up. That's gonna carry our items, but I don't know where they're gonna go from there. If they're gonna go out or if they're gonna go in. I'm running out of space here to put a turnaround so we don't have any items lost through this system, because that's something that I really think I should add. I don't know if I'm gonna hide anything or if I can hide anything. There's gonna be a staircase here, so I can't put anything over there. It's all gonna stay on the left or in the ceiling, but I'm gonna play it around a little bit, see what I get. This is the solution I came up with. It looks pretty horrible, very ugly, and kind of wacky. I have all of these chests sloped into their respective item silos here, and all of our redstone is kind of hidden up at the top here. We do have a turnaround. Everything is connected. It's just so ugly. I mean, I guess if it works, I can't complain, but it's just so weird. All right, enough of the weirdness. We are gonna go take a look and see up at the top and see if all of these items that our farmer villagers collecting is actually going to where it needs to. This is our turnaround. We do have wheat going through it right now, and that should be not coming back around. Oh, I don't want to collect this. We're gonna stand here, watch it for a little bit. Wonderful. Everything is going to where it needs to. Absolutely fantastic. This will be hidden behind this wall here, and nobody will be able to see this redstone. I actually think that this is a pretty decent solution, so I'm just gonna throw the wheat that I have in my inventory out and send it to the right place. I mean, redstone's done, building's looking pretty good, so I guess let's move on to the interior. I have no clue what I'm gonna be doing for this interior. I know that I'd like to keep this top part glass, and I know that I would like to cover up this big honking thing right up here. So we might be putting a facade there, some decorative object to draw attention to it, but not in a bad way. I really don't know. I put a loft up there though. Maybe a sign too in front of this doorway here. This thing sticks out in front of the door, so that needs covered as well, but I don't know what I'm gonna be doing with it. We do have some stairs here. Down here really needs some love. I'm kind of thinking a dungeony vibe. Maybe put our villagers down here too. We've got our storage on the left and right side. One is for wheat blocks and the other is gonna be for glistening melons. We do have some room back here that we could put our villagers if we really want to, but I don't really know. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of just empty places in this area that we need to fill, but don't quite know how to. So we might revisit the interior of this again eventually, but here's the outside so far. We've got our sloped roof, we have this little staircase, this leads up to our loft area. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this either. It's got potential, but I don't have the skill to pull out the potential. Well, I've pulled out some potential. And we're gonna take a quick look at everything I did on the inside of this build. It's not the best, it could be a little better. We finished our walls on the outside. I like the way the pillars look and work. This is our loft area. We have quite a bit of space up here that I'm not entirely sure what I'm gonna do with. And down here we have invisible light floors, no visible light sources anywhere. We've got our carrots, our wheat, and our seeds. Really, I don't need the carrots here, but I thought we'd farm them anyway. We have our storage in the back here for our hay bales, and over here we're probably gonna put some glistening melons. I'm not entirely sure what I want to put there, but it's gonna be something. We still have a lot to do with this building in general. I'd like to put some railings up here and decorate up on that loft area just a little bit more in general. But for now, we have a lot to do on the outside of this building. Mostly little detail work. And now on to the detail of the exterior. On all of our little pillars and beams, we're gonna put spruce stairs, not like this. We're gonna put them in the corner and basically round off all of the little curved edges and add a little bit more structure and definition to our beams. I'm probably gonna have to do some terraining around this area eventually, just to make everything look and feel a little bit more seamless than it does right now. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of struggling on how to put this structure around the diagonals and these funky angled areas. It's kind of complicated when you're trying to detail things. I think I'm gonna put stairs right here on the little sections going back too. I think that might look good. You know, this might look pretty good too if we put upside down stairs on all of our beams and all of our joints. We might be able to tie that into the railing as well and give us a little bit more pathway space. Yeah, I think we're gonna try that. All right, I'm gonna place this last one and then see if I can get a look at it and see if it. Yeah, that looks really good. I think that's gonna be perfect for our railing idea. I think that's gonna blend seamlessly, actually. All right, now onto the railings. This is kind of a design that I've always wanted to play around with. If you put fence gates connected to walls and then another one next to it, you get kind of an arc formation. And I really want to see how this works. How is that gonna work? We might come back to that one. Maybe if we put it out here, that might look kind of good. Mathematically, that might work out too. But basically what I'm trying to do is create a little archway in between each little post, just to kind of see how that would work out. Oh, you're the wrong way. That's better. You see how it kind of shrinks down after you place it? Yes, just like this. I think this is gonna be our little railway. I think it looks very pretty and it's little intricate here. I like this. We're gonna keep this. I'm gonna do the same style of railing on the inside of our building as well, just to kind of keep everything cohesive in this building. Why do I keep doing that? Okay, either way. Fence gates, railing, it looks good. Everything's getting finished up. That little railing doesn't match up, but I think that we can ignore that for now. Yeah, we're gonna call this good. Let's just yeah. Can I? Yeah, awesome. That works out perfectly. I'm actually really happy with how this building is turning out. This is probably one of my best looking farms. Well, we aren't done yet. I was taking a flyby of my building, making sure everything looked right, looked finished, and looked exactly the way that I wanted it to, and unfortunately, it didn't. I was flying by this water wheel and noticed that it was a little small and a little out of proportion, so I decided that I was going to put some blades on it. Historically, water wheels of the time period I'm going for had blades. Not all of them did, but a lot of them did. So I think that it is well within reason to add these to keep it in proportion, add a little bit more detail, and overall make the building look a little bit better. Adding blades to the underside of this is actually really tricky. I didn't think it would be this hard to move and get everything aligned in water, but it's kind of tedious. Alrighty, we're just finishing up here with these blades, and we're gonna take a quick look at it. That looks a lot better, I think. Yeah, I really like that. I love the way that those fins look and those blades kind of go in opposite directions, but it looks still in proportion. We might change up the color a little bit just to add some more detail, but for now I think we're gonna keep that and call this water wheel done. Now that we have finished our water wheel and completely finished up this building, we're gonna take a quick little flight by and see if there's anything else that we forgot. And just take a really good look at this building in general. Yeah, I like this build. Water wheels in proportion, everything is perfect. Unfortunately, we are out of time for today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed watching. If you want to see me build the first part of this building, check out the last episode. I built it there. But I really hope I catch you next time. My name is Red Skies, and I really hope you enjoyed. Goodbye. As always, if you have any tips or tricks for using DaVinci Resolve, video editing in general, please leave a comment down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. And I come with a question. I have breathing sounds in my audio recording, and it's frustrating to say the least. I don't know how to get rid of it. If you know how I can improve my audio quality, please drop a comment. It would be really appreciated.